Hooray for Hollywood! Hello there, Stan the Movie Man with your WIMZ.com movie review. This week, your votes at WIMZ.com, for some unexplained reason, sent me to see Smurfs 2, starring Hank Azaria, Neil Patrick Harris, Jamie Mays, Brenda Gleeson, and the voice work of Christina Ricci, Katy Perry, Jonathan Winters, Alan Cumming, and more. It is, of course, the story of them adorable little blue fellas and girls from the magical land of Smurfville. It's Smurfette's birthday. Of course, Smurfette was actually a creation of Gargamel's, Gargamel being Hank Azaria. Smurfette, voiced by Katy Perry, thinks everybody's forgotten her birthday, so she's very sad. But it turns out they're planning a surprise party for her, and they're trying not to give away the surprise before the party. Well, Gargamel, who is still in this universe, has become this very famous magician. And he has two of his little minions that he's created. They're called Naughties. And they are Vexy and Hackus. And these little fellas are, as their name would imply, naughty. What they were an attempt by Gargamel to create creatures, create Smurfs, so that he could draw their essence out of them and use it for his magic. Because if he doesn't have Smurf essence, he doesn't have any magic. So he decides that he's going to send Vexy, who's voiced by Christina Ricci, back into Smurfland through a portal and kidnap Smurfette and bring her to him so that he can either extract her essence, but what he'd prefer to do is get the secret formula that Papa Smurf used to change her from a naughty to a Smurf. Papa Smurf is voiced, of course, by the late, great Jonathan Winters. He is planning on taking a couple of Smurfs with him, but through various accidents, it turns out he ends up bringing people he didn't want to bring with him. He ends up bringing Grouchy, who's voiced by George Lopez, Clumsy, who's voiced by Anton Yelchin, and Vanity, who's voiced by John Oliver. They meet up with the humans they met in the first Smurf movie, Patrick Winslow and his wife Grace, played by Neil Patrick Harris, and Jamie Mays, and together they work on rescuing Smurfette before something terrible happens to her. Brendan Gleeson plays Victor Doyle, who is Patrick's stepfather, even though Patrick doesn't like him and has never gotten along with him. He wants to be part of his life as well as the life of Patrick's son, Blue. Various and sundry things occur that create tension between Patrick and Victor, and they all end up going to Paris to try to rescue Smurfette. I like how people in this universe can just pick up and leave and go to Paris all of a sudden. Well, let me tell you, this film is for children. It's strictly for children. The animation is not bad. The interaction between the characters is not bad. The special effects are not bad. But the story is very simplistic. The comedy is mostly of the physical nature, usually involving Smurfs falling down, or Gargamel involved in some sort of accident. Azrael, cat, usually is part of what ends up hurting Gargamel. Most of the time, Azrael is CG. Anyway, the film is strictly for children, 7 to 10-year-olds maybe. And maybe a little younger. Some of the jokes are a little crude. There is a segment that involves farting, and it's just for children. No adult should go to see it unless you have very small children, or unless the internet tells you to. Thank you very much. So, on that point, let me just say that while the film has some giggles, and it doesn't look bad, and it has a nice kind of moral to it about love being unconditional and family and all of that. If you don't have a child who wants to go see it, don't. If you have to go with a kid, then you won't have a terrible time, but it won't be the highlight of your week either. I'm giving Smurfs 2, oddly enough, 2 guitars. Go to WIMZ.com to read my complete review, as well as to vote on the movie that I'll see next time. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send them to me at stanthemovieman@att.net, and you can follow me on Twitter at MovieManStan. Alright, folks, here's your challenge for next week. Send me to a grown-up movie. Later.